I want to switch gears for a minute because of relatively recent developments in Israel and in Gaza. But I have to ask you this. Has AIPAC controlled or corrupted the United States Congress when it comes to aid to Israel?
Congressman, you said something in an interview with our own Greta Van Susteren. You and I got into this on my radio show, and I am shocked, frankly disappointed, and these remarks sound like the conspiratorial, anti-Semitic remarks of people that we have heard from over the years. And what you said was, quote, talking about Israel and, quote, Jewish people, they're controlling much of our foreign policy, they're influencing much of our domestic policy. What do you mean by that? Because that sounds to me like a bizarre conspiracy theory. Why would you say something like that when it's just, first of all, patently untrue?
Number one, I served in Congress for 17 years. I've seen members question bills and votes on how does Israel feel about this. I must have heard that every time there was a significant vote. Here's what I'm saying. I'm not an enemy of Israel. America supports Israel, and we should. They're a free nation. They're our friends amidst the cluster of dictators and monarchs. So certainly I support Israel. But Israel, through its lobby, has manifested so much power over the United States Congress that we're embroiled in wars that I don't believe we should be. Our kids are coming back in body bags. And in the long run, this Israeli lobby is going to hurt Israel. So as soon as you mention Israel, someone claims you're an anti-Semite. The truth of the matter is, I'm pro-American, Sean. And I don't know, I don't like, hear me. Hear me. I don't like what's happening in America today.
All right, that's fair.
Our kids are coming back in body bags.
Wait a minute, but you're saying
we're bankrupt, completely broke.
But you're suggesting here that we're fighting wars on behalf of Israel. But you just mentioned the 9/11 attacks.
I think a lot of that has been influenced by Israel.
Hear me now, Congressman. We're not fighting the war. We didn't fight the war in Iraq. We're not fighting in Afghanistan for Israel. We're fighting because this country was attacked, because the 9/11 Commission report said there's a group of enemies against us that are fighting a war against us, and we're not at war with them. So we're fighting them because they killed 3,000 plus Americans. That's why we're fighting. It has nothing to do with Israel.
All right, let me respond to that. We're in a situation where the commission come out and they discuss the attack on America. There's no doubt about it. But our policies in the Mideast have been so one-sided and subjective. Without objectivity, we've created so many enemies. The only way they can strike back is we've imported the terrorists from those actions.
Wait a minute.
So if you question it, you're saying you're an anti-Semite.
No, that's not what you did. That's not what you said. You said they're controlling our foreign policy. They're controlling our domestic policy.
Yes, and I believe they are.
Hear me now.
I believe they control the Senate and the House Foreign Affairs Committee.
That's insane.
And they're controlling our foreign policy.
Congressman, that's conspiratorial nutjob stuff.
No,
listen,
it's nothing to do with conspiracy.
Are we supposed to be friends with Syria? Are we supposed to be friends with Iran? Were we supposed to be friends with Saddam Hussein? Hezbollah, Hamas?
Hold it, Sean.
Well, you said we're not.
Sean,
we're only friends with Israel.
Ratings. I know you need ratings, but just hold it.
I have ratings.
I'm not saying we should be friends over there with anybody. I'm saying we should be objective. We have developed serious enemies from a one-sided policy. And yes, I believe Israel, through their lobby, has manifested total power of the Congress of the United States.
Power.
And my concern is the taxpayers and the citizens of the United States should control their government, not a foreign entity.
To suggest, as you're doing here tonight, that they control our Congress, that, quote, they are influencing and the sole control of influencing of our domestic policy is an absurdity. It sounds like you are a kook.
Sean, I'm not suggesting it. I'm telling it. Yes, I believe they manifest a great power over America. Let me also say, in the last 4 years, there are 2 separate incidents of AIPAC spying on America. We even conducted a search warrant on AIPAC headquarters. Now, I don't like what's going on here. All I'm telling you is I'm concerned about America. You and I might disagree. I'm not an anti-Semite. I'm not against Israel. And if Israel's attacked, I'm the first one to want to support them. But what I'm saying to you is this power that's being manifest on our Congress is going to backfire, and it's going to end up in the long run hurting Israel, because the American people are getting about fed up with this government.
One last shot at this. Will you back down from, quote, they are controlling much, meaning the Israelis, they are controlling much of our foreign policy. Will you back off that statement?
No, I don't.
All right, then we disagree. Congressman, thanks for being with us.
Good to be on your show.
Well, the fact is that AIPAC and the lobby more generally has a huge impact on Congress. And it's almost impossible for anyone in Congress to oppose Israel or to support any efforts that the White House might make to curtail Israeli behavior. AIPAC is a remarkably powerful lobby. And I think, when Steve Walt and I wrote the book in 2007, AIPAC and the lobby more generally was incredibly powerful then. I think it's gotten more powerful with the passage of time. I think it has to get more powerful because defending Israel has become increasingly difficult. It's important to understand that Israel's behavior at this point in time is so outrageous that for the lobby to protect Israel, which of course it does, and it does an excellent job, it has to work overtime. It has to work harder than ever. And of course, as time goes by, the task that the lobby faces is going to be even harder. Because if you look at public opinion polls among young people, and this includes young American Jews, there is great dissatisfaction with Israel there.
But if AIPAC, which is a foreign lobbying group that does not have to register, by foreign I mean it lobbies in behalf of a foreign government, that does not have to register with the DOJ. As far as I know, it is the only lobbying group anywhere in the United States that lobbies in behalf of a foreign government, openly and notoriously. There's nothing hidden about this, that doesn't have to register. If it has that kind of a vice grip on the Congress, isn't that some sort of a corruption? Members of Congress voting to please the group that will drive them from office if they don't please it, and financially rewarded if they do please it.
Well, I wouldn't use the word corruption because they're not operating outside the law. I mean, as you well know, interest groups hold tremendous sway in the United States. Just think about the National Rifle Association. Think about the Cuban lobby. I think the Israeli lobby is the most powerful lobby in the United States. It's truly impressive how powerful it is, but it's not corrupt or illegal. We can argue whether whether AIPAC should have to register as a foreign lobby or not, but the fact is that it doesn't. And as long as the law says it doesn't have to register as a foreign lobby, it's free to do pretty much what it wants. If you were asking me if this is a good thing, the answer is unequivocally no. This is a disaster for the United States, and it's a disaster for Israel. And it's important to emphasize that if there were no lobby, if there were no Israel lobby, the United States would treat Israel like a normal country, and we would have a fundamentally different policy toward Israel. And I would argue, and this is what Steve and I argued in the book, it would be better not only for the United States,
but for Israel.
Better for Israel.
Why do you say AIPAC is not good for the United States? That it's not good for American foreign policy? Because there's no rational dialogue about American foreign policy when it comes to Israel. It's just, this is what AIPAC wants. We have to do it. Example, do we have a treaty with Israel? No. Is Israel a legal ally of ours? No. What American national security benefit is served by sending all this cash to Israel, Professor Mearsheimer?
None. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, what we should be doing is treating Israel like a normal country. And if we had done that long ago, we would have pushed Israel to accept a two-state solution. There wouldn't be all these settlements on the West Bank. We wouldn't be in the total mess that we're in today. But no president, despite the fact that almost all of them since Jimmy Carter have tried has been able to put meaningful pressure on Israel. Look at what's happening today. Joe Biden is clearly upset, deeply angry, maybe a better way to put it, with what Israel is doing, especially with regard to this assault on Rafah. And Biden wants Israel to change its behavior and to not continue the assaults that it began on Monday in Rafah. But he can't get the Israelis to do that. Why? Because he can't put any pressure on Israel. Why? Because if he puts pressure on Israel, the lobby will go after him hammer and tongue. And he's running for re-election this fall. And the last thing he wants to do is get into trouble with the lobby.
Here's